Yo guys, what's going on? Acez here today with another video. In today's video, I wanted to look at some of the skills that are currently not released in Escape from Tarkov. This video is being recorded in 12.12 if you're watching way into the future, but if you're in the current patch like myself, we have a lot of skills that still are not in the game. There's definitely a lot of skills that might still be added in addition to what we see blacked out here, but I wanted to talk about what we do have access to seeing, and there's a lot of cool stuff in here that I honestly can't wait until it's introduced in the game because I love grinding skills. If you guys are interested in a metabolism guide, that's going to be coming out sometime after this video within a couple days, so make sure you guys are looking out for that on how to get this thing elite super quickly. So, with that being said, let's take a look at the first one, sniping. Now, you guys might be thinking to yourself, well, we already have a sniper skill in the game. It's literally titled Sniper, and you're not wrong on that. However, this is specifically focusing on sniper rifles, the handling, the reload time, all of the above when it comes to the physical sniper rifle itself. When it comes to sniping in general, I believe this skill is going to be directly tied to how long you can hold your breath. Now, I know that is also tied to either endurance or strength. I think that'll be changed in the future. When using scopes, maybe you have additional scope handling or ergonomics. Maybe you have increased breath time, like I said, or maybe you have, decreased scope sway. There's a lot of different things that could be impacted with a sniping skill. And I think anytime you're using a sniper rifle with a scope and you're scoped in and you're hitting your targets, I think that's how we'll see progression on this sniping skill. So I expect sniping to have a very huge part in Tarkov in the long run because of this skill. People are going to want to grind it. And honestly, man, sniping is super fun in Tarkov. If you haven't ever done it, try it out. It's a lot of fun. Prone movement, this one is pretty self-explanatory. When you're prone, this is pretty much going to probably only increase your prone speed, and then maybe the speed you get up from prone, possibly the noise created when going prone and exiting prone. Just things related to the prone movement. To be honest with you, I hope this one levels up fairly quickly because a lot of people don't go prone too often. I think the only times I go prone is when I'm overweight or when I'm sniping or using a long-range rifle with the scope. That's pretty much it. So when it comes to prone movement or going under a train car or something, when it comes to prone movement, I would hope if you're prone for like 10 seconds, you would get like 10 skill points. But don't get me wrong, 10 skill points is a lot. However, you would get that skill decrease. If like you're using a weapon or something for an extended period of time, you have reduced gains at a certain point in a raid. I would say maybe after 10 skill points, you go down to minus 129% as it does with other skills. And then obviously after you wait 5 minutes, you can go prone again and level it some more. So with prone movement, it's pretty self-explanatory. Field medicine. So I assume this is only going to be leveled in raid and when you are taking painkillers. Just for an example, now there's going to be illness in the future. There are going to be a lot of things. So maybe we get an illness. Maybe we get a cold or something. We need antibiotics. Maybe if you take an antibiotic, that is going to level up your field medicine. We don't know. Obviously, all these features are unreleased. But like I said, just speculation. I think field medicine might be cool. Now, the image we have here is what seems to be some sort of gauze on the guy's wrist while holding a rifle. So maybe if you're getting shot and you're healing in raid, maybe that is going to level that up too. We simply don't know. But with the first aid, now this makes me wonder, is this first aid going to be correlated to healing out of raid, or is this going to be correlated to healing from therapist? Once again, something we don't know. If you could get, let's say, at elite level, you get free healing from therapists. This is just an example, which that probably will not happen. But like I said, an example, let's say that the cost is reduced by 0.1% every level you get on first aid from healing from therapist. If it's directly tied to her, that would be really cool. I think that's definitely something that would give incentive to use that healing screen instead of going into your stash and using a grizzly for the 400 XP. Maybe you want the skill instead of the XP. Some people really focus on buying grizzlies and only healing out of raid to get that additional experience. So, first aid, we'll have to see what that one is. Maybe it's just healing in general. We just don't know. Light vest. So this is going to be exactly what it says. Light vest, as in the weight, not the armor class. So this doesn't mean running a P.A.K.A. I'm sure P.A.K.A. would actually count. But I would assume that you either using any kind of armor that is under, let's say, 6 kg is going to level this up. The more you run with it, it's going to be correlated to maybe endurance or something like that. The more you have it on and walk with it, the more you're going to level this skill up. Now, it's possible this is directly tied to getting shot in that rig. So if someone hits you with a bunch of buckshot in your P.A.K.A., it's not going to do jack shit, But at the end of the day, you're going to level up that light vest skill. Now, with the heavy vest, we are talking the Gen 4s, the heavy armors. Same exact thing that I just said. Maybe this one is tied to your strength skill. When you're overweight running a heavy vest, maybe you level up this skill. And I would assume that the buffs on these are going to be better handling, better turn speed, better ergonomics, less penalties while using these armors as you get more proficient with your PMC using them. So that's my assumptions there. Weapon modding, I think this is just going to be in general. I think they just haven't added this one yet. We also have advanced modding, which I've talked about in the future video, if I remember, car in the top right corner. But weapon modding, I think this is just going to be you taking attachments on and taking them off and then putting them on. You know, just literally anything, editing your weapon in the presets menu, anything. I think that is going to level up your weapon modding. Advanced modding is going to probably either be in raid modding with the Leatherman, the multi-tool, or it's going to be something a little more in-depth, like putting an advanced buffer tube on rather than a regular buffer tube. And I kind of don't think that's going to be the way. I think they're really going to stick to in-raid with the multi-tool, and I think that's how this one's going to level up. Night Ops. I think this is just going to be the amount of time spent using night vision. I really don't think it's going to be any more in-depth than that. I'm not sure what the skill is really going to provide you. Maybe additional visuals at nighttime without using night vision, something like that. Or additional proficiency with night vision goggles. Maybe the speed that you put your goggles down and up. It's just an example, but I think that's the way we're going to go with that one. Silent Ops. I believe this is probably going to be directly tied to suppressors, the amount you use a suppressor in the game. And maybe it affects the decibel range that the suppressors impact, or maybe it just affects your handling with weapons with suppressors. If you guys don't know, putting a suppressor on your weapon significantly impacts the ergonomics that it does have. So maybe Silent Ops will help you with that. Next is lockpicking. This one's going to be interesting, especially for people that need quest keys. Maybe you spend 20 seconds picking a lock. That's going to be an interesting one to see in the game. This one I feel like is definitely going to be a lot more of an in-depth feature. Obviously, to level it up, all you have to do is pick a lock and a door, but the actual lock picking itself is going to be the hard part for BSG to implement. Really, I think just take right out of Skyrim's book and make it a little more in-depth with like actual lock picking. But I think the basis of how Skyrim did it back in the day is really the best UI, and honestly, it makes it really easy. But if you have to, you know, do certain key combinations and all this shit to make it really hard in advance, hey, maybe that's what we need for something to access a locked room. I assume in the future, lockpicks are going to be super expensive and they will have uses just like a key. So let's say a lockpick has 100 uses on it, and then maybe the other tool that you're using has also 100 uses on it. Something like that. We have free trading. This one sounds interesting. So maybe after you hit, you know, loyalty level 4, you get a couple discounts from your traders. Now, I could be completely wrong on how this is worded, but I would assume that you're going to get certain gifts or something from helping out a trader. Maybe this is just your quest rewards. I don't know. But free trading sounds interesting, but I don't really know what to say about it. Auctions. I think, personally, auctions will never be added into the game. I would like to make a separate video on this, but if it ever is, basically you list an item at 1 ruble and let people bid on it up until a certain point. There would have to be some strict limitations on this for it to ever make it into the current Escape from Tarkov economy and flea market. I feel like there's way too much real money trading going on for this to ever make it in the game, but that's just my opinion. Clean operations. I would assume, like I said, this is all speculation, that clean operations are getting a kill or going into a raid without taking any damage or firing a single bullet. I would assume that exiting a raid without taking damage or firing your weapon is going to level this one up. I don't really have any other info on this. I have no idea what it might mean. Maybe it's completing a quest on your first try. Maybe it's related to daily task. I don't know. Barter. This is just going to be bartering shit with your traders, doing barter trades. It's going to level this one up. And, you know, I don't know the buff that you're going to get from this, but at the end of the day, that's what I would assume. Maybe it's directed to bartering in the flea market as well. I don't know. Shadow connections. I'm surprised we haven't seen this one yet. Because of Fence Rep already being in the game, I would assume that the more you level up your Scav Rep, the more your shadow connections would go up. And maybe Fence will pay you more. Maybe you can sell to him for more rubles than usual. I'm not exactly sure, but shadow connections is going to be directly tied to Fence and Fence only. Whether that is Fence task in the future, I don't know. Task performance. This is going to be the last skill that we don't have access to that we currently know about that is in the current build of 12.12. Task performance is going to be probably directly tied to the rate you complete your task. If you fail a task, maybe you lose 10 skill points on this. But most tasks you're going to complete right away, and you're not going to have to really do them again. So with that being said, I would assume this will naturally level up, just like hideout management. As you do tasks, you're going to get more skill, and I would assume that the buffs on this are going to be more experience, more money, and more rewards. So that is every skill that's currently not an Escape from Tarkov and kind of my speculation on what they're going to be. We also don't have under-barrel launchers yet or heavy machine guns, and we don't currently have, I think there's one more. Is there one more? No, I'm wrong. Oh, kind of like immunity. Immunity is kind of one of those skills that is in the game and you can level it up. But we don't have a true use for it. It does actually help you with painkillers and gives you extra time on them. But other than that, we don't have any sickness in the game yet. So it's kind of one of those that it really doesn't help you in any way. Memory is almost the same. There's no skill drain anymore. You don't degrade your skills anymore. So memory will have to be changed at some point in the future. And also revolvers. We have the revolver shotgun, but it doesn't currently level this skill up. So we'll still have to wait on that. So that's where we're at. Make sure you guys leave that like, subscribe if you're new, sponsor in the comment description below. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. I'm out.